afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here today. My name is Austin Dixon, and I'm CEO of the Community Foundation of the Texas Hill Country here in Kerrville, Texas. I'd like for us all to start with a moment of silence to acknowledge all of the community members that we have lost, and we pray for everyone who is impacted and everyone who has lost so much. Thank you. We have gathered today to talk about and share some important news about how the Community Foundation and the community here in Kerr County are coming together to support flood victims and families impacted by the devastating floods on July 4th, 2025. Today we're talking about something that is at the heart of recovery for our Hill Country community, and that is housing. Because rebuilding a safe, stable place to call home is at the heart of recovery. I'm proud to share that the Community Foundation of the Texas Hill Country has committed $40 million to a new housing fund. This is more than bricks and lumber. It's about restoring stability, dignity, and hope for families. Whatever home looks like, whether it's a rebuilt house, a repaired RV, or a safe temporary apartment, this fund will help families get home. In addition to the $40 million housing commitment, in the first 45 days of this recovery, the Community Foundation has granted $16 million to more than 50 local nonprofit organizations working directly with flood survivors. That support has helped over 700 families with emergency assistance, supported over 200 small businesses so that they can keep people employed, and funded 17 volunteer fire departments, our local heroes who have answered the call, and 2 public school districts, including Hunt and Ingram, who are with us today. These grants have paid for things like temporary housing, groceries and food, replacing a car, funeral costs, cleanup expenses, and much needed counseling. Every dollar has helped flood victims stabilize and take that first step forward on the road to recovery. We have also made grants to get schools to open safely and on time. We have funded a water system in Hunt, Texas, so that it's repaired and operational, and a recovery center also in Hunt to support civic needs and to have a safe place for kids to meet after school. The Community Foundation of the Texas Hill Country has organized its long-term response into 4 categories: housing, mental health and well-being, economic recovery and quality of life, and long-term recovery needs. The $40 million commitment to housing is the first strategy to be funded, and it will support temporary housing assistance, including displaced families housed through Airbnb.org, who is with us today, repairs and rebuilding through trusted nonprofits and local builders, some of whom are also here today, RV repairs and replacements for families whose RVs were their home, and case managers who will pull it all together and walk with families through this recovery side by side for the next 18 months or more. The Community Foundation's Board of Trustees has appointed a local advisory council, local leaders who know our community, are from our community, and understand housing, many of whom are here today, who will guide funding decisions of the housing commitment and ensure resources stay local and are put where they needed most. Their recommendations to the Foundation's Board of Trustees are an essential step in effective philanthropy and community-led response to disaster. This is one of the fastest and the largest philanthropic responses ever mounted by a community foundation. And it's proof what we already know about Texas and the Hill Country. When disaster strikes, it brings out the best in all of us. We are deeply grateful to all of our partners who are with us today, including the Governor of the state of Texas, Governor Abbott, state and federal officials who have been here since day one to support us in our efforts, Airbnb.org, local nonprofits, local builders, community leaders. This is not just recovery, it's rebuilding lives together. Thank you.
Well, Austin, listen, congratulations on your announcement. Thank you for everything that you have done so far. I would amend what you said. In my experience as governor, I've never seen a community or a foundation respond faster at literally getting the resources donated to the people who need it the most. Let me kind of walk through the standard process that we go through in responding to a disaster like this, and then comment about what you guys are doing. So anytime when we see what happened either here in Kerrville or what happened in Hurricane Harvey, name the disaster. The first thing we focus on is saving lives. And that includes the ongoing search and rescue operations. The second thing that we focus on is things like removing debris. Then we work through that process on legislation. And by the way, as we are speaking right now, the Texas House of Representatives has taken up multiple pieces of legislation that fully respond to all the needs of the Kerrville, but also the other areas affected by all of these devastating floods. I am told that just as I arrived here, the Texas House of Representatives passed out of their chamber the camp safety bill to ensure that camps in the state of Texas will be safer from flooding events that cost lives like this one did. Then all along the way, what's necessary is the rebuilding process. There are so many people who are displaced that we need to be very empathetic to. These are people who lost their home, people who don't have a place to live, people who are waiting to get back into their homes. And we need to really feel the pain that they are struggling through, knowing that they have to get back into their home as quickly as possible. Corresponding to that, we have donors, so many generous people here in the state of Texas who have supported that effort. And they have the donor intent to make sure those dollars are going to be used to get those people back into their homes. To see what you've done today with this announcement of $40 million, to know the extent to which it is going to help people actually get back into their homes. And let's aggregate this together. He talked about this new $40 million grant in addition to more than $15 million already granted. And in addition to that, many of you are familiar with what the George Strait Foundation provided. 2 weeks ago, we handed out checks to people who are homeowners who were very devastated. We'll be back again this coming Saturday to hand out more checks. The first round of checks there were $25,000. There will be more money provided. The point is this. The George Strait Foundation is helping about 75 families, 75 residences be able to be fully paid for the rebuilding process. When you look at the money that the Community Foundation is providing to these other local organizations, in addition to the money that would be available after that, I see no reason whatsoever why all of the residents who lost a permanent residence in this region are not only going to be able to have that permanent residence fully rebuilt, but rebuilt at record speed. There's construction projects going on right now, and this is able to happen because of the charitable donations that have been provided. Let me give you a contrast example, and that is when Hurricane Harvey hit, there were literally hundreds of thousands of homes that were impacted and destroyed. And it was far more than what charitable contributions would be able to pay for. As a result, it got stuck into a process that goes through the federal government, that goes through HUD, and it literally takes years, maybe even a half a decade, to get people back into a permanent residence. What these people at this table are doing, they are ensuring that the people of this community will not be going through that experience. They're getting people back in homes this month, next month, very quickly. And this is not only a record amount of money being provided to local residents, I think it's going to be a record speed at which these homeowners are going to be able to get back into their homes. And so I just wanted to be here and say, Austin, thank you for your leadership of this, but also for everybody at this table who will be the local partners involved in the process of making sure that this community is going to be able to execute on the promise of these funds to get into the hands of all the right people to ensure that everybody who is displaced from a permanent residence will be able to get back into that home as quickly as possible. So thank you for doing such a great job.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you. Thank you, Governor. Now I'd like to introduce Lucy Harmon, who's the superintendent of Hunt ISD, who's seen firsthand some of the impact of Community Foundation grants up to this point. Lucy.
Thank you, Austin. I first want to echo Governor Abbott's comment about the speed of the Community Foundation. Austin and the Community Foundation have been trusted partners and members of our community for a long time. So personally, as a resident of the area, after this tragic flood, when I saw their flood relief fund that was stood up so quickly, it brought me peace to be able to tell people, oh, that's where you send your money. And so I appreciate the quick thinking, the quick action of the Community Foundation in that effort. In the fast-paced 6 or 7 weeks that have followed, the Community Foundation has been there for us time and time again. Our students and families are facing incredible challenges right now, but I do want to tell you the support we've received from the Community Foundation and others has been unbelievable, and it's been very meaningful. I do really great when I'm just pressing on in my day, when I have to stop and think about how blessed we've been with the people that have supported us. It does tend to choke me up, so I will move on. The support for this housing recovery initiative will be very impactful for us as educators. Our students thrive when their housing situation is under control, when they're in their homes and their homes are stable. And so we appreciate this effort because it really supports our students and our families in a meaningful way. We're grateful for the generosity from the Community Foundation that we've all experienced so far. I can tell you personally, I serve on the Community Allocation Committee for the Hunt Preservation Society, and I see several of my fellow committee members here, and I know they would echo the same sentiment. We were so grateful to receive $300,000 from the Community Foundation. We were able early to host an event at the Hunt School that offered resources to our families and our residents that had been displaced or received flood damage, and we were able to immediately put funds in their hands. And that was not only such a joy to be a part of, but it meant so much to them. They were just so touched by the fact that they were able to walk away from that event with immediate funds to help them get started, so we were appreciative for that. In addition to that, if you've never been to Hunt, it is not an incorporated city, and so it has a community water system. The school district used to work off of a well system, which you can imagine is a disaster when trying to ensure that water safety for children. And so we transitioned to be a part of the water group, the community water system there in Hunt, quite a few years back. And so this $370,000 the Community Foundation has done in support of our water system is not just important for the community, important for the school, but it is it's what we really needed at a time that we needed. And so we appreciate that, because anything that can help us with that infrastructure is powerful. I'm excited about the $500,000 grant that the Hunt Preservation Society is receiving. Again, if you've never been to Hunt, we have 4 buildings. We have the volunteer fire department, we have the school, we have the Hunt store, and we have the post office. We now do not have the Hunt store or the post office. Both were devastated in the flood. And so this $500,000 is going to a community center that will be placed in that central part of town. It will serve as a gathering spot for us. It will serve as a temporary post office. That's a big deal for us. We're currently driving at least 45 minutes round trip to even collect mail if the traffic's good. And so these things will not only be convenient, but it's just a real morale booster for the community to have those things back. My students, several of my older students would commonly walk to the Hunt store after school and hang out waiting for parents, and they've lost that. And so we've also talked about that community center having like a student center in it where kids can hang out in that transition time. And that will be so meaningful to every single community member and every single student at Hunt School. So we're so appreciative for that grant. Then finally, we did receive a little bit of flood damage at the Hunt School. In addition to that, we immediately turned the Hunt School into a recovery and response responders support center. And so we operated 4 or 5 weeks housing responders, K-9 units, all kinds of things, feeding them. And so it took a little bit to pivot from a recovery center to a school, and the Community Foundation was there with whatever we needed, and we appreciated that support. We were able to open school yesterday. We are having day 2. Day 1 was very successful. We are on day 2, and so we appreciate that. Our classrooms do not smell like K-9 units anymore, and all of this is thankful to the Community Foundation for their support in this effort. The Community Foundation, I want you to know, is making a real tangible difference for our students, our schools, and both Ingram and Hunt schools and our families. Together, we're going to ensure that children can focus on learning and healing while their families can rebuild their lives. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you, Lucy. Thank you, Lucy. I'd now like to introduce Bobby Templeton, who's the former superintendent of Ingram ISD, and he's the chairman of the West Kerr Chamber of Commerce. Bobby.
Thank you. Governor, I thank you for being here, sir. It's an honor getting to sit up here with you. It really is. As someone who's worked alongside families and first responders and nonprofits for years, I can tell you that these grants make a huge difference. They not only support the people who protect us, they take care of our families, they take care of our parents. And in just 6 weeks, millions of dollars have gone straight into our immediate relief. And I want everybody to know that when you hear things like that, that is not just a number on a page. Each of those dollars represent a face. They represent a parent, they represent a grandmother maybe who is taking care of 3 or 4 kids. They represent a single mother, they represent people who struggle every day just to pay the bills. So when we talk about relief, we are talking about actual human relief. Austin, thank you very much. From my perspective as the West Kerr chair, I cannot tell you how important the Community Foundation has been for our recovery. We did have quite a bit of damage. One of our buildings was completely lost. We had to relocate some of our operations. Our security fencing was torn down. We have several $1 million worth of damage. And a couple of days after this happened, I got a few calls. I got a few calls from the state. I got a few calls from law enforcement, first responders. But one of those calls came from Austin. Thank you, Austin. And he didn't ask what was going on. He knew. He just said, what do we need to do? And I started to explain what he could do, and he said, wait a minute, I'm on my way. Let me drive out there. Meet me in about 20 minutes. So 20 minutes later, he was there, and it was like a breath of fresh air. We felt so dejected. We felt helpless. We felt things that I've never felt before. And there's a few seminal moments throughout this tragedy that have really helped us feel whole again. And one of those seminal moments was my conversation with Austin Dixon when he said, the Community Foundation is going to be here. We are going to take care of you. We've got this. And out in the middle of a big debris field, you actually saw 2 grown men out there hugging. And so I just want to say thank you to that. Throughout this, somebody asked me earlier, said, how do you feel about all this? And the word that I gave off the cuff kind of was inspired. Although it's really sad, it's tragic. We have families that have lost everything. We have teachers that have lost everything, community members. But for me, the thing that strikes home most is just how inspiring this is. There is what I'm calling a uniquely American spirit that kind of runs through all of this. One of my jobs in the few days after this happened was delivering food. And I had the privilege of delivering food to first responders from all over the country, Michigan, Indiana, Arizona. I even delivered some food to the Mexican Navy And I didn't even know Mexico had a Navy. But it was so inspiring, and I've never been so proud to be an American for all of these people just to show up to help a tiny little fly speck of a town they've never heard of, people they don't know. One of these days, I hope we in the West Kerr community are able to load up a bus and go help somebody someplace else. So it's been very, very inspiring. You know, and we're going to hear this over and over, that the road is long and it's, you know, it's not a short turnaround. But we are already starting to see a really big crisis in terms of housing. So many of the people that we deal with, Lucy and I in our school and in West Kerr County, are very poor. They don't have 2 nickels to rub together, and when you give them $5,000, it is like giving some of us $50,000. It's just unbelievable. And to see the look on those people's faces when you're able to give them some money, and not only give them money, but give them hope and give them a future, it is probably one of the coolest things that I've ever experienced. And I thank you for that. I cannot tell you how proud I am to be an American and how proud I am to be a Texan through all of this, and how proud I am to be part of the Kerrville and West Kerr community. We're a special lot, I've learned. And one thing one of our coaches told me and keeps telling me over and over, and I'm going to tell it to everybody, and that is this: we got this. We got it.
Thank you, Bobby.
You're welcome.
I'd now like to introduce Christoph Gorder, who is the Executive Director of Airbnb.org. The Community Foundation, as a part of its housing commitment, has made a $1.6 million grant to Airbnb.org to make short and long-term housing available immediately for local families. Christoph will tell you more about how this collaboration will work and what Airbnb.org has already been up to in Texas. Christoph.
Great, thanks Austin, and thank you all for having me here today. We are honored and grateful to play a small role in the recovery here and be part of this community. I lead an independent nonprofit called Airbnb.org, which was founded by Airbnb about 5 years ago to help leverage the Airbnb platform of millions of Airbnbs around the world and house people in times of need. And so we work around the world, and when we saw the tragic events happen here on July 4th, the team swung into action, and we started working with local nonprofits and state agencies to offer up free Airbnbs to community members who'd been displaced. And so over the course of the last 6 weeks, we've housed about 350 community members and first responders here in this community for free as part of our work in doing rapid response. And it's been our honor to be able to do this. Working with the Community Foundation now, we're able to go even further and provide longer term stays for the families who really need it the most. And so we're really excited to be able to announce and launch this partnership with the Community Foundation to be able to reach and provide housing stability for a large number of families across the area. The way this works is Airbnb, as a donor to us, covers all of our operating expenses and waives all of the Airbnb fees. And so what that means is that the donation now from the Community Foundation, 100% of that will be used to pay for Airbnbs here in the community. And what that means is it'll have a double impact, not only housing families in need, but all of that money will go to pay Airbnb hosts here in the community who are suffering because of the lack of tourism and other economic impacts that you're having here. So we're going to have a double impact here, not just helping the families, but also helping the economy and small business owners who rely on their Airbnbs for their livelihoods and to pay their mortgages. And so 100 cents on the dollar are going to go straight through, and they're going to stay right here in this community in the 3 counties around here. We would never be able to do this without the trust and the professionalism and the partnership of the Community Foundation. I will tell you, I've been in disaster response for 25 years. We responded to 40 disasters around the world just this year. The amazing job that this Community Foundation is doing is really, really world class. We do not, most communities don't have the good fortune of having such a great asset in their community, to be able to do this, to be able to bring partners to the table, to be creative in solutions like we're going to be with Airbnbs or with the schools, and it's just our honor to be able to play a small role in this. For families who need help, you can go to rebuildker.org and register there your need for housing, and there's a lot of other resources there. A caseworker will reach out to you within a week and start the process, and we will help find you a place to stabilize and help you recover from this tragic event. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prasad. Part of housing recovery is about temporary housing assistance while people need to take a breath and figure out what's next for them, or while their home is being worked on. And our next speaker is a local builder and a grantee partner of the Community Foundation, Katie Culver, who is a part owner of Kerrville Design Build, and they are part of literally building homes as we speak. They have been in the work for several weeks. We are honored to put gas in their tank and help them keep going. And we'd love to hear from Katie about what they've been up to and the difference they're making in our community. Katie.
Hi, I'm Katie Culver with Kerrville Design Build. Thank you, Governor Abbott, for being here today. Thank you, Austin. The last few weeks, the last 6 weeks have been a whirlwind, and we've been down there. We've been able to really start helping people immediately. We have an incredible team. We got hooked up with a great family, and with the fund given by the Community Foundation, we're able to help them tremendously. Our goal is to bring hope to people. We have vetted subcontractors that are coming in and donating. We have licensed electricians, plumbers, people that know what they're doing helping families down here, and that's so important. It's important to pour the money into the locals that need it. And we're there, and we're so excited to see the community get hope and start to really getting rebuilt. This is truly a gift, and we are so grateful. We're not just rebuilding structures, we're rebuilding lives, and to get to be a part of this, to get to watch this firsthand is such a blessing. And again, we're just so grateful for getting to do this and getting to do this the right way. So these families feel that they're in a safe place, a place that has been done by people who really know what they're doing. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Katie. Some people have wondered where the philanthropy is going, and it's coming through the Community Foundation and directly out into the community already. Hammers are swinging, homes are being built. The homeowners that Katie mentioned are with us today, and I hope some of you will get to talk to them later about their personal experience and what they've gone through. We feel for you, we're praying for you, and we're going to rebuild your home. And while you're one family, there's so many others that need this hope and this gift, and we'll be there for them too. And we look forward to standing with you. Thank you. I'd like to thank again the Governor of the state of Texas, Governor Abbott, for being with us today, for championing local philanthropy and local solutions to crisis and disaster response. We are proud of the work we have done. We are proud to be Texans, and we are proud to deliver results for our neighbors, building a new community for today and tomorrow. Neighbors helping neighbors, this is what it's all about. This is the power of philanthropy to deliver results for our community, and this is what Texans do for one another. I have never been more proud to be a Texan than in the past 7 weeks. Please visit rebuildker.org for more information on all of the grants that we have made, including grantee name, grant purpose, and dollar amount. If you are affected by the floods in our area, please complete the needs assessment. If you have not done so already, raise your hand. We need to hear from everybody. We cannot help you unless you raise your hand and say, I need help. The needs assessment collects critical information that will be used by our nonprofit and builder partners to connect with you and get you the hope that we promise and that we will deliver. If you are a nonprofit organization locally, at the state level, or nationally, and you would like to be involved, visit rebuildcur.org and fill out our resource assessment. There we are taking an inventory of every organization that wants to raise its hand and get involved in the rebuilding of Kerr County. Thank you all for being here today. God bless you, and God bless Texas.
Take a few questions.
So you have this $40 million pledge for housing specifically. Is there any timeline on where you're going to put the rest of the money into the other?
In the other pillars, the great question. So the Board of Trustees of the Community Foundation made the $40 million commitment to housing. They're next turning their attention to mental health and well-being. They have appointed an advisory council of local leaders and mental health experts from a variety of disciplines. That group will meet next week, and they will take in input and data and make a recommendation to our board on how much money should be allocated for mental health and well-being. And once that decision is made, we'll then move on to the other pillars. The Community Foundation's long-term response plan is going in this order of housing, because we need to put people and roofs over folks' heads. And then the next crisis that's coming upon us is mental health and well-being for all those of us, including myself and everybody involved who's carrying heavy burdens right now, and they need the mental health and support that they need. And then we'll move to quality of life issues and economic recovery. We're so grateful for our partners with the state of Texas, with this SBA. The governor is hosting an event next Thursday focused exclusively on business. And we're grateful for that. There's a lot of resources that will be coming to the aid as well, and we hope to tap into that in the future. Thank you.
And Governor Abbott, how are we going to help the mental health of, we have a big issue here in Kerr County. MHD says they've served 12,000 people since July 4th. But this is such a wide-ranging event across the state and nation. How do we help those who lost children in Dallas, Fort Worth, the families that were lost in Midland, Odessa? What are we doing to work with those organizations?
That's a great question, and one that our Mental Health Advisory Board, our Advisory Council will take under consideration as well. They're a team of psychologists, neuropsychologists, licensed clinical social workers, school counselors, and licensed professional therapists, and they will take in good information and determine how we can help in the best way forward.
Governor, we know that the Community Foundation's money is from all of these amazing private donations, but a lot of the survivors I'm speaking to are wondering the difference between the state money and these private donations. So where is the state money that I think you mentioned a little bit about during the press conference trickling down when it comes to housing and things like mental health and small businesses as well?
Sure. So the state has already spent well over $200 million. And that is for the initial emergency response, initial recovery operations, things like that. The legislature is voting maybe today on adding another $200 million to assist with this process. There are a lot of different things where they provide assistance for. One are things like debris removal, which is going to be an ongoing process, and other strategies that will arise. And then, of course, we will be working collaboratively, as Austin mentioned, next Thursday to begin the process of helping all these businesses get up and running again, as well as work alongside our local partners to make sure everybody's going to have the opportunity to get back into their primary residence as quickly as possible.
SB1 has some language in it that is potentially makes it difficult for the camps to reopen or to ever open again. What is your assessment of that?
So, first of all, there were some issues involving the first iteration or an iteration of SB1 or HB1, both of them. So my understanding is it passed out today out of the Texas House. There were modifications to that. Because I've been on the road, I've not had the chance to see that, so I'm not able to answer your question other than to say this. We know that concerns were raised, and there's an attempt to meet both goals. One is to meet the needs and the expectations of the families who lost a child, while at the very same time not putting these camps out of business. And I think from what I hear that the House was able to achieve that goal in the bill that they passed off the House floor today.
Governor, building on the state funding question, what is your reaction or response to some Democrats who questioned why you didn't redirect state funds?
Sure, they were just either uninformed or purposely misleading. Because the fact of the matter is that the state began spending money the day before the storm even hit. As an example of state money being used, in the first 24 hours, state resources were able to either rescue or evacuate more than 1,000 people. Think of the helicopters. Think of all the big National Guard equipment and personnel and Texas Department of Public Safety. And that process didn't end on July the 4th or July the 5th. It continued for weeks, and we're still spending money this very moment in time on ongoing search missions in the river. That point aside, debris removal is a large financial burden that the state is assuming to make sure that's going to be taken care of as quickly as possible. As I mentioned earlier, before today, the state has spent well over $200 million. We're spending more every single day. We're appropriating another $200 million. And so anyone who said otherwise really just didn't know what they were talking about.
One more question, when we think, are you considering, floodplains and, speaking with homeowners, speaking with businesses about considering which areas may be at risk, are you considering floodplains in rebuilding?
Was that your to me?
Are you trying to him?
It could be whoever is best to answer that,
So-
at this stage of, you're getting.
Sure.
You're saying, hey, we'll help rebuild their home, but are you speaking with those homeowners?
You can try it if you don't have it up. Give an answer.
Rebuild, where it's best to rebuild, or to not?
Yep. So here's the way this works, and that is, it's going to be up to local governments to make the final determination about which floodplain map to look at. And it is important that once that map is chosen, that the rebuilding take place either outside of the floodplain, or there are ways in which houses in the floodplain can be elevated so that they are actually above the floodplain. We've done that in Houston, and we've done it elsewhere. I know it can be done here also, if that is what the resident chooses to do. So there are several options, but the initial action that has to be taken is for the federal government to issue what they consider to be the different floodplain maps, and then the local government deciding which map to use for, in this case, in Kerr County, and then determine which homes will and which will not be in that floodplain. Maybe to answer your question a different way, I don't think resources are going to be used to rebuild houses that are in the floodplain, but we don't know exactly right now where that floodplain contour will be.